But vanilla rule set is main rule set I'm trying to reach. And again, I'm telling you the same thing I told to European players that current schedule of judgment hours and stability of instant battles and so on and so on, it's not what it's going to be at the end. The only reason why we have so few judgment hours is because we under impression that it's more lags and more frustration rather than fun for everyone participating. That's why we want to minimize the amount of frustration so we can get some logs and data of those judgment hours, but not forcing everyone to be frustrated on a daily basis. So what I'm trying to say that vanilla setting doesn't mean that there will be no judgment hours or no PvP. Vanilla setting will be more PvP rich, but it's definitely not going to be as.
Yeah, he was just hot miking, I think.
That was accidental.
Bobik, we still love you.
Okay.
Well,
and I
so
love
just
you too, guys.
the one thing I would say is I don't think it's fair that the assumption is that NA has less PvPers than EU. I mean, I don't know where that assumption is coming from.
Well,
but the
in
same
the-
thing is
PvPers versus non-PvPers is always going to lean more towards non-PvPers. But if you start segregating, and it's going to end up just like your own.
Can we let Bobik answer the question, please?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's my general impression under, with all the private chats, what I receive. Also, we have a stats on North American servers. I believe it's only, maybe it's only 10 instance battles in total happen. While on European server, it's around 50 battles.
Well,
So,
if I can interject here,
Hmm?
I think part of the reason why you've seen so few instance battles on the North American server is because we figured out pretty quickly on that instance battles were nothing more than a way to throw away gear.
Yeah, like there's no point to them. Like nothing. There's no progression.
So you are more clever than European server players.
No, like people have flat out said that they will not fight us in instance
Well,
battles
that makes
because
sense.
they don't work.
Well, and so they keep on playing and suffering from.
We had
battles.
2 down to go today. One is already 40 minutes ago, and the other one was 2 hours after that. So we're not luck of trying.
It's well,
I think
GH is also an open world.
Can I just clarify one thing with you, Bobik, before everybody? That there be no ticket transfers, either destroying a character to get a ticket or a ticket given free to any players to transfer to any other server from what they're on. There will be none of that.
No, most probably. Well, definitely we are not going to get a ticket for destroying your character. As about some kind of transfer, not at least at first weeks, maybe even a month since the server will run.
So not within the first.
If I can go back to the instance battle thing here real quick, I think there are 3 main reasons that keep the instance battles down. Not just them being unreliable and buggy, but also the other 2 factors of 2, cost, and 3, the amount of time it takes to get to certain instance battles. I remember one in particular battle I was really looking forward to fighting the Maples. I ran all the way from 42 down to 6, I think, sign up for a Hyperion battle totem, only to find out that it had bugged half an hour before we got there. And it was just pointless. I think if you really fix if you fix the bugginess of the totems, and lower the cost on them, and also make it so you don't actually have to go all the way across the world just to sign up for the battle. I think if you can find a way to address those three solutions, you're going to see instance battles just go through the roof on North America.
Okay. Let's save the time. Of course, I do understand. That's why we released that patch, and we expect that battles should be way more stable now. But my point is that we have the same, absolutely the same code running on European servers and North American servers. We have absolutely the same amount of instability in instant battles on the North American servers and European servers. It's almost roughly the same. But the difference is that there are 18 battles in Europe and 1, 2, or 12 battles in North
You guys,
America.
the password is 1234. 100%.
Okay. A topic I'd like to bring up is
just 5 seconds, sorry guys. FK 5 seconds.
Okay.
Like I said,
Okay.
we need to keep the conversation toward what we were here for in the first place.
And stop hot micing.
Can we agree on what the problem is that we're going to work towards fixing?
Yeah,
User in
you
your
guys
channel was
played. You
kicked
guys
from
that
the
are
server.
PvPers and everyone in general knows that if you segregate PvPers from non-PvPers, all the servers die eventually.
Your channel was
Sooner
at
than
No,
later.
no.
Yeah.
Whoa, guys. No one wants to segregate them. That's the point. That's why we are not creating new PvP server on.
Well, we're not trying to attack you or argue with you about it, but if you make a server and call it a PvP server, eventually, on its own, they will segregate.
That's why we don't want. That's why I don't want to create a PvP server on North America.
So you're only doing that for your own servers?
Why do you want to create on EU then?
One at a time. Sorry, what was the question again?
So you're only doing that for your European servers?
Well, yeah, the plan was to have one PvP server in Europe, and they demanded that it will be an Avalon itself.
So why are you segregating European players and not North American players? I don't understand.
Well, again, because I believe that North American main world is fine as it is now, and it will be more fine once we stabilize judgment hours and instant battles, and we will have enough of PvP on vanilla setting rules. While European players are more PvP oriented, I even know that there are a lot of North American players that went to European server just to get more of PvP. They didn't get enough of it on Buyan, and they went to Avalon.
What about
And-
a server?
And a lot of
Your channel was edited.
PvE players got pushed from Avalon on role-playing server also. So that's why the percentage of PvP players on Avalon is even higher than anywhere. That's why that's one of the best servers to create, to make a PvP server out of it.
But Bobik, why is it being listed as a PvP server? It's just an alternate playset server, is it not?
What is listed as PvP server?
The way that the new server for North America is being advertised is it's a PvP server, and it's not. It's an alternate playset rule.
No. It's standard Ruleset world. I don't know where it was. Whoever told that NA were going to have a PvP world?
Okay,
I mean,
so
you
there's
can
just some
open that.
misinformation.
You can open dashboard. It says standard.
No,
Ruleset world.
I understand that, sir. That's what I'm trying to kind of get across, because nobody in the group seems to have actually come across that point. It's an identical playset server. It's not the European PvP server.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the topic.
So.
Good.
A lot of people looking to get onto a fresh server or looking to switch over there. Is there a reason why you didn't decide to make that new server an RP focused server as opposed to a standard one?
Well, standard ones are more populated, and well, it's vanilla rule set, and I believe there will be more vanilla servers than any other special servers. And as in case of role-playing servers, role players doesn't care much about the ping. and they can all. I mean, well, North
That is not
American
true.
players. Well, it's true according to most of people I have talked with.
There are a
Role
bunch
players.
of RPs who love to PvP.
Yeah. I mean, of course, everyone loves a PvP. If you would be a 100% role player, you would go somewhere when there is no full loot and some other game. Of course, I understand. But in most cases, yeah, PvE or whatever.
Let's look at it from a pragmatic perspective here. We've got the game going out onto Steam. Most of your own players, the people that are actually familiar with the game, are already playing the MMO if they have any intention to. The MMO launch on Steam is going to be drawing in new people. The last thing I think those new people are really going to want to deal with is the extended skill grind that's present on Epleland or whatever the European one is. It's bad enough on vanilla.
That's why that's the point. I don't want to create another role-playing world. There is no reason for it. Current role-playing world is not populated, and it can accept new role players. And ping is not that much, is not that huge case as some of you are trying to present. And especially since European data center is in Germany, not far from Atlantic optic fiber line. So things are not that hard. I'm myself living in Mason, Ohio, and I got no problems playing on European servers and checking role plays. So
just
if the rules that were different, maybe more people will play on the RP server. If it were more PvP-ish.
Okay.
Hey, what are you saying, Carl?
Just to clarify, so the current NA buy-in server will be a regular Ruleset PvP server or vanilla server? Like, how are you going to label the current NA server compared to a new Steam server?
So right now it's the same standards Ruleset world. I mean, maybe it's some kind of problem or technical problem. Can you open a dashboard and on North America, what kind of servers do you see?
I can confirm that both buy-in and Telman are both set as standard rule set.
That's it. Yeah, I'm really confused why everyone is speaking about something else.
I think word got around that it was different.
Whisper.
I can confirm that somebody edited a picture.
That's what.
Oh
and
yeah,
the
of
picture
course,
came up with the buy-in
That's,
as PvP.
That's what the hysteric was about.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate
that
it happens. People trying to sow chaos.
Yeah,
and everyone started spamming and spamming negative review pictures and all that stuff. Sometimes, I mean, I am under the impression that there is a joke, not a joke, it's a true actually. Then when we launched Life is Feudal Union on Steam back in 2014, we have visited different streams, just checking what people were doing and so on, and we gathered the statistics that only 1 of 10 streamers had no beard. The 9 of 10 were bearded, grown-up males.
Yeah,
but when I witnessed something that happened today in chat, I'm under huge impression that I'm wrong, and that makes me really confused.
I have a beard.
Bearded Legion.
It's probably just
you
the
meant
hype
like
culture.
okay. I thought you
People
meant
jumped on the
something.
bandwagon a little too easy.
Are we
I'm
going to be
concerned.
getting
would
more
like to-
frequent JH on the NA server, the current buy-in server?
Well, yeah, we can do it. I mean, I'm not against GH. If everyone of you say that they can stand the legs, some echo from someone again. If you can stand the legs and if you want more frequent GH on NA, we can make more frequent GH, leaving the rest of vanilla setting rules.
Yes, please. I mean,
my
one
stance-
major
Okay.
problem we have right now is we've got these groups that are just massive amounts of people, and they're starting to strip all of our resources, and we really can't do anything about it because JH is only an hour a week. So I know my group is
User in your
definitely ready
channel was
for
kicked from the
even
server.
daily would be nice.
Yeah, I
Even with
believe it's
JH, we
unanimous
still
that
can't
we would
stop
like.
them.
I got a
Yeah.
question. When do you plan on implementing Siege?
Good question.
Hopefully in February. Right now we spent more than we planned on stabilization of instant battles, and it's not clear if they're stable enough right now. So.
Is Siege going to include ladders?
No.
Oh.
Unfortunately, no.
I have
be able to
a
destroy-
proposition to appease both the PvP and possibly the PvE side of NA here. Most of the PvPers from NA would like to see the old bark box rating back in place. Is there any possibility that we could get a costly raid totem that would grant us the ability to do that on certain occasions?
That's a complex mechanics and definitely not going to be soon. And judgment hours are designed for that. During judgment hour, if you are in war with a guild, you can use bark boxes to get inside.
See, you have all the data, Bobik, but my idea with the reason why JH was lagging so much is because everybody was trying to raid at the exact same time on the exact same hour on the exact same day.
I understand. You can. I kind of understand you that that all the pressure that was gathered in 1 week of doing nothing got suddenly released in just in 1 hour of judgment hour, and well, yeah, that resulted that everyone was lagging and so on. I understand your point, and it makes sense. So, well, we can try at least like I don't know, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours judgment hours. Yeah.
I think every other day would be a good compromise.
But
Sorry?
Soto, I've got something here. All right, the suggestion of judgment hours, adding more of them might be good, but how about just extending the judgment hour? Can we
No, I
add
said
that to
2 hours.
3 hours?
2
That'd be
hours.
awesome.
2 hours. I said it.
You want another hour?
Instant battles. Hold on, the
I
instant
mean, I
battles.
think every other day, 2 hours would be a great
Hold on.
step
Let him ask
forward
his
here.
question.
Instant battles. If we were to go instant battles, actually had an effect on the claims before judgment hour. So if we did an instant battle and reduce the size of the claim, which thus would give us more realm claim to attack during judgment hour, at least then we'd feel like we're doing something instead of just beating our dicks against a wall.
IB totems do not reduce the size of the town claim, do they? Only shrink the realm claim.
They reduce the radius of realm claim, of course.
And then to add on to what was just brought up, currently there's no repercussions for guilds declaring war against other guilds. Do you have any plans to make
Yes, of course.
war even viable?
Yeah. Guys, so it's turning into Q&A. I believe I don't know if some of you participated in last Q&A, but in the roundtable, PvP roundtable.
Middle of the workday.
Unfortunately, yeah. But I believe there are some recordings and streaming and so on. So at least hopefully you saw some answers. The thing is that we want private claims. We want to make some kind of mechanism to contest them and to fight for their ownership. Instant battles totems might will go cheaper once they're stabilized. And war, there will be some kind of respect or war price system that will make it inefficient for some alt or level 1 monument tier to wage war on everyone, and so on and so on. They're all in plans.
Bobik, can we talk a little bit more about the judgment hour? Why is the reason to extend the judgment hour? There's actually no really fight in the judgment hour when we attack, for example, Ascania's Blood Pact or TFA. We normally can't fight because the majority get the disconnect, and when they relog, they get killed because of the guy which is first in. So what can we do about this? Because it doesn't matter if judgment hour is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, we have still the problems that the majority of the players disconnect in the fight.
Stabilizing the servers first is priority.
I mean, that's a server stabilization issue. There's not much that you can say other than he's gonna try and patch it.
No, of course. Yeah. But no. But sorry, that's it. That's sorry. I have to interrupt. But that's interesting. So should we increase judgment hour frequency or not? We're going to stabilize servers sooner or later. Of course, it's a priority after we stabilize instant battles, and well, it's always our priority. But for now, should we make judgment hours more frequent or not?
Personally, I think
yes.
Yeah.
I
don't.
Yeah.
4 hours.
Absolutely.
All day.
I
I
can
see a little bit of no point in increasing the length of judgment hour if all they're going to do is just run into their houses inside of their town claim and just sit there laughing at you as you do nothing but run around their claim, not able to do anything.
So
Sure, you'll be able to get up onto their walls, but if they've got a house in their town claim, there's fuck all you can do.
And that's why we need instance battles to work beforehand, so we can reduce the size of the claim before the judgment hour. Therefore, we can hit the crap that's just on the edge.
Well,
So
maybe
one
for the
thing-
larger claims, but for
one
all the
thing,
smaller ones, we're fucked.
Make Darkfall, make those destructible.
Can we agree that maybe they should add something where you actually lose something for not showing up to instance battle? It's just ridiculous.
Yes.
Hey, Bobik.
No, you already lose monument. You already lose realm claim.
Problem we're having on NA right now.
Hey guys,
Please
slow comms.
Comms.
Slow comms. Show respect and let people speak and have their turn.
I can actually vouch that I have seen someone skip a battle totem before, and their town claim wasn't reduced at all.
It regains in 1 day anyway. It doesn't really matter. You lose double the amount than you normally would if you don't show up.
We need battle totems to have more of an effect.
We would like to request that if players or if guilds are not putting up opposing forces to defend their guild, there should be a even more negative effect of that totem.
As an addendum to that, you know,
No.
you need to have a minimum number of troops show up, because if you just have one person queue up in like no gear, then you know it's the same effect.
It should be like 1/3 at the very least of the numbers they have, if they have the numbers in their guild or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Could I
Hold up,
put
I
something
got one
forward?
question to ask before I go.
Go ahead.
Okay. All I want to ask is just like in the future, will we be able to destroy other people's entire castles, like remove them?
Yes. Siege.
Okay, thank you. That's all I was wondering. Thank you.
Guys, can we come back from Q&A of game mechanics to actually deciding what kind of PvP mechanics do we want now?
Yeah. So one thing that I think would be a good compromise is, you know, a lot of us work a lot, so like Judgment Hour, you know, during the week, like 4 times a week, wouldn't necessarily be realistic for a lot of people who work. But if we extended Friday and Saturday Judgment Hours to 3 hours, and we did 2 3-hour Judgment Hours, it would be more livable, because people will be able to work and come home and play, and you'd actually be able to PvP for a longer duration. It would probably reduce lag too, because not everybody's trying to cram it into the same hour.
I feel like we should focus more on setting up JH during a prime time instead of when it's suitable for some instead of the many.
I think maybe 3 JHs a week, maybe, or 4 at prime time.
I think we should do 1 hour every other day, and then during the weekend you have a 2-hour JH or a 3-hour JH during the weekend.
You guys should remember that your prime time's not my prime time.
Yeah, I'm going to cry now. Well, I believe you can hear it by yourself. Everybody wants different things.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Everybody wants different
I
things, but
I
we
think
all
the
want more JH.
Avalon
but-
PvP.
yeah the consensus is more JH, please.
Okay, but how exactly more? Longer or often?
Why don't
We
we
don't
start
have
off
to
with
go
small?
from 0 to 100. Go 0 to 30 to 50 to 100.
Let's go with
See where the comfy mark is.
I think that if you find going more often will be more better for the servers, because if you go longer, I know a lot of people are saying they're not going to cram it all into 3 hours, but that's just not true. I bet you everyone will use as much of that time as they can. If you do different days more frequently, you're going to see less stress on the servers.
I also think that you had the right idea in the first place, Bobik, with having the 2-hour JH every other day, but also including Saturday and Sunday would be a great place to start out and see what the reaction is from that.
I think that's a good move. Or maybe even drop it down to an hour a day on the weekdays, but every other day is definitely a good move.
I would agree with
So just a quick remark. As I said, unfortunately, we cannot alterate the duration of Judgment Hour during the week. So it's either always 2 hours, or always 1 hour, or always 3 hours.
Always 2 hours is working.
Let's start 2. That would work.
We just would like more of them as a general consensus. That would be a good compromise for now.
I agree for more JH, more frequent JH.
4 times a week and 2 hours.
I would say the 5 times a week with the 2 hours, as you originally stated, Bobik. I mean, you guys got to understand we got to come to something together, or we're going to keep arguing about this, and he's put in a position where we're not going to figure something out.
Let's put up a straw poll.
We could do a straw poll, but Bobik's original suggestion, I think we could try that out. If we could all come to an agreement, and then we could
give it
get
a
that out
week
of the
or
way.
two, see how it goes.
Exactly.
I don't think it's a case of us all here coming to an agreement. I think what Bobik's done so far has been good. He's built a good game for the community, and I think what Bobik needs to do is listen here and then look at other media, look at what they're saying, and then work on his vision with that included.
I think,
Yeah,
in all honesty,
good
if we
idea.
did 3 judgment hours a week right now, that would fix a lot of things. It's not ideal for a lot of the PvP, but it might be a happy medium to start with.
Guys. So what? According to what I heard here right now, I'm even more assured that you are. Do not be offended, please. But I believe you are more grown-up people that have real life, and you don't ask for 24 hours a day and 7 days and a week judgment hour. If compared with Avalon players, you are less aggressive and less PvP hardcore. Again, please do not be offended. And that's why I'm saying that. That we can keep the both Booyan and the new server with a vanilla rule setting, and I will just adjust the vanilla rule setting that judgment hour will be more often, and it will be like 4 times a week for 2 hours of duration, something like Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that.
That sounds alright to me.
That sounds good.
That sounds
We're
good.
happy
Bobby.
with that.
Perfect.
Yep.
Sounds
Perfect.
good to me.
Okay.
But
Can I-
guys, you probably
All
forgot
right.
that
Can I
we are
put something
representing
forward real quick?
not normal players. We are representing guilds, allies, but not normal players.
And
Of course, we want to PvP, but how about casual players? Maybe they don't want Judgment Hour fight.
They don't. They don't. If anyone read my post on forums about wolves and sheep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what's happening now. Wolves are minority. Wolves are, as any minority, are vocal, way more vocal, because the spam that that you created was seen from across the from anywhere. But the amount of private messages I received about saying that I'm doing right and keep pushing your vision and and so on, it was also quite a huge.
I mean, as far as people who don't want to fight, you don't have to fight. There's plenty of ways to drop
Yeah, just
personal
go hide.
claims on shit you want to protect.
Log
like,
out.
You can just
Yeah.
log out. Like
Well, I
we've
mean-
seen it a million times with other groups.
It's life is feudal. Like we
I
just
think-
gonna
Private
fucking
claims
go
cannot
all
be
day.
destroyed currently, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You
but
can
but
just throw privates on stuff you don't want to destroy and go watch it.
yeah, but guys, just listen. 10 minutes ago, someone said, "What when you go into the claim, they can just hide in the house and you can do nothing. Let's do something more." Do you feel the
Can I
difference?
put something forward?
Yeah.
Allow people.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Bobik.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know if this is something that you can do, like even somewhat semi in the future, but I think everybody pretty much agrees on this point, as far as I've seen on the forums and on my own Discord and on other people's Discords. Can we please just make town claims only really defend walls, so that walls are invulnerable, but you can still destroy things on town claims?
No,
Why?
definitely not.
What about my windmill?
Do you want to give us?
No, guys, I don't want some.
Sieges come.
That's why sieges are created. When everyone will be ready to defend and attack that property. I don't want some raids at 4 a.m. when some prepared guild just goes in and bashes some houses, receive a huge fund by destroying some assets, and in a couple of hours, that guild, defending guild, logs in and sees the ruins.
Then what you do then is you make it during JH during peak hours. If you're not on for the JH, then that's your own damn fault, in my honest opinion.
No, everyone has their own lives. Not everyone can get a lot of people on Wednesday, and you can always warn your guild members, saying, "Okay, everyone take a day off on next Wednesday." They will take it. They will take a day off, and you will come in hundreds onto someone's claim that were not prepared, that they didn't take a day off, and you will just bash their houses.
Okay, so what someone said before about being just able to hide in houses, why not just be allowed people to open wooden doors? Like, it's unrealistic for a door just not to be able to be opened just because it can't.
Well,
Well,
So why can't you lock it?
Just open it. It's a lock.
guys, then now we're talking about my vision about what is the current balance between PvP hungry wolves and sheep that are trying to avoid the PvP. My position, they must have place to hide somewhere.
Yeah,
There needs
perhaps
to be
land might
half
be
an
destroyed.
idea. Perhaps maybe we add another totem, right? An invulnerability totem that has to be declared on Mondays, where you pick one of the 3 GHs that
That's
you
a
don't
lot
have
of
to adhere
work.
to.
That's a lot of work. That's a clutch.
Yeah, I think that we've kind of come to a consensus
wait,
of what the reason we came
ideas
here.
like something reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
thanks.
Everyone
That's
just
what
feels
I
free.
wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has these insane ideas, and it's like this poor Bobik. Like everyone has all these crazy.
So we're kind of straying off the
Same
topic.
idea.
The
And then
reason that
someone
we have
else will
come
come
here,
and say
we've
something
established.
contradicting.
Yeah, Bob, if you don't mind, just take 200 hours or so to make this happen for me.
Bobik, have you considered making some furniture as like low HP? So, for example, people ain't using drying frames as a wall piece.
Well, they already have low HP, but you can only damage them during Judgment Hour.
The idea
I mean,
of
it's
just,
like
If they put them on the
often
city
being
claim,
good.
you can't do anything to them. So.
yeah, it can
Well,
basically
that's true.
do a
That's
dirt
true.
wall and then stack them around, and then without building a wall, you can't do anything.
Well, yeah. That's a cheap ass wall, and well, why not?
Bringing up about
walls anymore. They can just put tiny
Well,
domes up.
here's the
Hey
thing,
guys,
right?
Guys, keep it civil.
Clear comms.
Just on the note of these drawing frame walls in the city claim, if you take a look at our base, we're at the highest point in our server tile. There's no way anyone's getting over a drawing frame wall. Like, and it's just the cheapest thing in the world. Why build anything better than that? Is what people are trying to say.
Well, that will be addressed later on, I believe.
You've got people on the FOBs all over. That's why
Siege
they take your
mechanics
time.
are going to destroy you.
Can we get the bigger problems,
Speaking
not
of which,
just
how
the
much
little ones?
are you planning to have the siege totem cost now?
No, right now it's ridiculously expensive, but once sieges will be working and stabilized, I expect it might be 10 times cheaper than now. Something like that.
You know, one of the things about the new PvP server that really intrigued me was the ability to buy totems for coin was announced. That's a really neat feature. I think
We
that
like
if you were
that,
to
yes.
include that in North America, it would solve not only the problem of, you know, it costing a lot to get totems going, but also it would
It's
it
not
would also
really just
create a money
solving
sink.
anything.
Well, guys, you'd be surprised. The same discussion was on European servers, and like 10 guild leaders answered, well, instant battle totem is fine. You know, the price is fine. I don't know why, but I'm not building it up. It's really what they have said. But my point is that once we see that instant battles are stabilized, of course we will make instant battle totems more available, cheaper, and then we can observe and discuss the possibility to sell them in a trade post. I mean, it doesn't take much for a game just to add them on sale and just go and buy them.
That IB totem is very expensive, but Jesus Christ, that fucking siege totem.
No, well, siege totem is expensive by design. It's because there are no sieges.
Like IB totem isn't expensive. If you plan to have 100 warriors, like you need to have like 200 people. If you have 200 people, you are really able to manage to make a lot of IB totems.
Well, the point is that for sieges, you will have to do way more of preparation. You will have to build a camp.
You need like 15 instance battles and then a siege if you're on like a tier 3 or
Oh,
something.
yes.
That also will be tweaked.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's right.
At the same time, wouldn't lowering the cost right now give you a more advantage to observe them, like more up?
There is no need for it. I mean, when we see the problem, we got the logs, we got the we got the data, and after it, it's just the same data. It's the same logs. Okay. And until we fix it, it will be the same data. And the more players are failing to play, the more frustration, the more people go out. That's why we don't want instant battles to happen 10 times a day. You know.
Well, you don't have to sign up for them anyway.
What?
Could I put forward an idea? If you're going to sell the totems, instead of selling them for like gold or silver or whatever,
because that's quite easy to get. I have a token that's crafted with region resources. So you might need to have 4 or 5 different region resources to make a token. You need 5 tokens to buy these totems.
That's
It's
cool.
a bit more meaningful.
That's actually a good idea. People coming with all sorts of crazy ideas in here.
That's a great idea.
But
Alright, Bobby, get to work.
one thing that's important to remember
Well,
A long-term goal.
if the totem is free or the totem is so expensive you can't build it, it doesn't matter if the other side never signs up.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's a matter of again, it's a matter of what you lose while losing the battle. The problem with broken battles was that there were always a loser, and in most cases it was an attacker, and there were no battle, but they lost their realm claim cells tiles radius, and they were freaking about it, and I do understand it. That's why the penalty is not that high right now.
Can I have a suggestion
Can I-
for instant
Can I
battles?
say one thing really quick? I'm sorry for cutting you off. I think a lot of people are just in here giving suggestions of what they'd like to see implemented to the game. We're not the developers, but what we would like to see, I think, is a general consensus, is that when bark boxing and stacking items were taken out of the game, I feel as a consensus as a group, we feel like that was a detriment towards the PvP side of the game. We would like some of those abilities or some consideration as a whole to be given back towards the PvP portion of the game.
Get siege bark boxes.
I think bark boxing is stupid.
Well, hang on, guys.
Not really.
Something
I think it's
we
stuff
just
on
want.
its tail.
Hey, let him talk.
Yeah, we just want to see something similar. We want to be considered the same as EU in that aspect. It's not to say that we're less PvPers are on the NA server or anything like that, but it's unfair to suggest that we don't deserve the same things being implemented as they do.
Well,
That's
you
basically,
have.
I think if you're summarizing it, that's what everybody here feels like.
Well, exactly, and they will not get bark boxes outside of judgment hours. They will not get them. So you are going to have the same. Well, the only difference that you will have, well, maybe we will even make the same amount of judgment hours. I mean, it's quite possible. It's only the advertising will change that. So Avalon is like a PvP server, while Booyan will stay as vanilla server. And the extreme ideas of PvP might be implemented in Avalon. But I will be careful with Booyan about it.
Can I ask something?
You guys, I have to go, but I want to ask one more question to Bobby. How about tickets to the new servers?
What?
We can't understand what you're saying, dude.
User in your channel was kicked from the server.
How about tickets to the new servers?
I think people are concerned. Sorry to interrupt you. With the new servers coming out, they're afraid of their current servers becoming unpopulated because of the idea that the new servers will be where everybody wants to go. The new Steam community would like to go there, and the server population on the current servers where everybody's established will drop to a point where they themselves are going to want to head to the new servers.
I don't think so.
Yes, but both tickets to the Avalon because Dev said that there will be only one big world that.
Well, there were no one big world from the start. There were an NA world and European world.
Why would
Yes, of course, but I mean one big European server.
No. Well, anyway, but we said that it's theoretical maximum of 10,000, but even 10,000 for online games is not that much. So there will never be like EVE Online or having one huge persistent world. Unfortunately, it cannot be done in worlds that have a lot of collisions, terrains, forests, and so on and so on. So 10,000 or 4,000. Huh?
Can you think about the tickets?
Well, that's a good point. If we are not going to give free tickets, there will be less migration between servers, and you will not be afraid that Booyan will die, especially considering that amount of amount of efforts that everyone have invested into the current server.
Why would it
So,
So maybe do
just to
a half price
clarify,
of the
New
tickets.
World, the New World for NA
Will be
was
the
created
same.
with the exact. It's the exact same.
Exact same
reason
thing.
it was made. It was to alleviate incoming players.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
alleviate the current. Okay, I just wanted
So,
to clarify.
how do you
Okay.
think that Bayon is going to survive when in the last 3 weeks the population has dropped dramatically just because the severe lack of PvP content?
It's your population that's dropping.
Like, I'm not trying to be rude,
he's not
as your enemy.
Bayon population is going down because all the PvPers are crying that we don't have anything to do, and in a lot of our groups it's noticeable that we're losing our friends because they don't want to play the game because there's nothing to do, and you've got a whole room full of people trying to give you suggestions. But, you know, there's got to be a reaction now, not in 6 weeks when our server dies and the new Steam server.
That's why I'm here. That's why I don't understand what I'm trying to build up. But as I said, that's why I'm here. That's why we're going to increase the frequency of Judgment Hours, and that's why we are going to release on Steam to get a lot of new players into our game.
Why would
it's kind of just saying the same thing over and over again because we already established that there's going to be more JH.
Quick suggestion. Okay, people are concerned about the population of Bouillon. If you delay the launch of Telman a week after the initial Steam release, then we will be able to repopulate Bouillon as well as allow the new players that are flooding in to go to Telman if they choose.
Well, it's not a good option.
Everyone's gonna go to the new server.
Hey,
like if
hey,
I got,
hey,
if I
it
didn't
will
have
not be the
game-
case. It will not be the case.
Hey, clear comms, please.
Happens.
Hey, I'm Seaton. I'm the leader of Prosperity, and I'm part of the Feudal Union who's hosting this. The next person that keeps cutting Bobik off, we're going to start kicking you out of this room. Give the man some respect and let him answer his questions.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alignment hit, that's a good penalty, a good start to a penalty to deter it. But my problem is like the people that are going to have like Monk's Blessing or they're going to have positive 60 alignment, they're not going to care. So they're still going to guild drop to screw over their enemies. So my suggestion is why not just put a 24-hour delay on it? Like you click leave guild, it gives you a 24-hour debuff and it doesn't kick you out of the guild until 24 hours later.
Yeah, of course. Guys, timeout was a best solution, but implementing a timeout means it's a costly queries to database to check all the history, all the actions, and find your actions and find when you did what, and so on and so on. So it was like a quick fix because dropping karma, dropping alignment is way faster and easier to implement than a proper tracking of all the actions and measuring of timers and so on and so on.
Okay, so to understand you correctly, you're basically what you've done in this patch is a quick fix deterrent until you come up with a more permanent solution.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Would just something to attach to that for guild dropping? If you dropped the guild, would it be possible to add a like debuff to remove the skill insurance? So if somebody drops a guild, their skill insurance just disappears for 15 minutes. So that
you will lose 10 alignment. You will already get quite high skill loss. I mean, it's quite enough.
I have a question to add to that. If does the -10 alignment, will it make them go below -50 or no?
I believe it will not go below the -50. No, I'm not sure about it. But at least you will get a criminal and you will be able to kill them without alignment loss.
Another question, Bobik. Will it be possible that the coalition is able to control one server? So that not somebody comes when all are sleeping and blocks some grenade or something like this.
What? I don't get the last part.
For example, we're controlling a server with our coalition, and in the night action, somebody of our enemies blocks or sets up a claim between us. Will be there a way to control the server
User in your
like a
channel was
coalition
kicked
server?
from the server.
No, we do not plan like you are talking about server nodes, yeah? You're not
Yeah,
talking
like
about the whole world, you're talking about server nodes. No, it's not planned. We do not have some plans to control the well, true to be told, server nodes should not be visible to you. I mean, it's our technical logical distribution of calculations of the whole world. That's unfortunately there's all the problems with node borders crossing and lags and so on force us to show all those nodes. But normally there should be no nodes logic in game mechanics.
Okay.
Regions yes, whole world yes, but not nodes.
Would you consider tweaking the PvP rules for the RP server if enough people ask for it on you?
Well, yes, of course. Well, role players are always welcome to organize something and tell what they want and what they don't want. We have a separate game master for role players. So.
Would you consider a free character server transfer when Steam release comes to equalize?
So about the transfers, first of all, we don't have a mechanism, and it doesn't sound as simple as it seems. So, but
no,
transferring a character is a
wipe all stats. Wipe all the character gets totally wiped. So it's
Just make it like character slots.
Go back to 0 again.
It's not that easy. You can't just transfer a character through the database on the other databases.
And it will be even more harder to create a ticket in a premium shop for you to refund. So I mean, it's all can be done, but it's definitely not a priority right now, unfortunately. Well, I even have at least 2 or 3 days requests a day for for a name and surname and appearance change. I mean, I obviously see that we're losing money here because a lot of people want to change their surname or name or face or race or whatever. But even that we have no time to implement. We spend most of the time on stabilization, bug fixes, and more urgent mechanics like PvP mechanics. And just sorry, I just want to
Maybe in game there could be a long-term way to get some of the currency that you buy skins and changes to servers and stuff like that. Maybe.
Well, we'll see. The only thing that I would just want everyone to warn here, since you all here, I don't want to call names. I don't want to call something, but I want to say that back in Shadowbane, there were a whole server that got lost to a group of players from a certain region of our planet. You know, I mean, like literally a whole server was wiped. And in case of North America, I'm afraid that it can be a case in your case too. I mean, I currently see that you might be endangered until we open the servers in Asian region. And I think that that's what most of you PvP guys must think of at first hand. If we're talking about
When it comes to
as worrisome as you might think.
When it comes to the DA hits, have you considering adding to protect maybe those that don't want that much PvP, that they won't lose skills when you're dying in that hour? So if you're a role player and actually get killed by the PvP guys, you ain't losing your skills, so it's only your inventory.
That's the purpose of monks and skill insurance.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there's, I mean,
Monks
there's a game,
cover
there
all
has to
skill
be.
loss, death penalty. It's already there. It's implemented. Just level somebody to 60.
If you remove consequences for actions, though, what's the point of the game? Like, there has to be consequences for everything you do.
Agreed.
Yeah,
okay.
If you're an RP guild, then
Guys, yeah, just one last question, and I want to sum everything up, and I want to come back to my work. Last one question.
Could I ask a question about instance battles? And with that, I mean, it seems like they're a little bit broken in a manner of speaking, and in some cases, people aren't even signing up for it because it's an attacker and a defender. But if we added, let's say, for example, so that instead of just making it capture the flag for one side only, why not have both sides have a totem that they need to protect, and whoever wins a field battle between those two totems and captures the other, the penalty would be applied to either person that loses. That way, both sides have something to gain by going in instead of just slapping it down as an annoyance and seeing if the other side shows up.
It's already been answered.
I like that.
Asked
It's
and
already been
answered.
answered.
Maybe she just show up to him.
Got a question. I've got a question for you, Bobik.
Well, last one question. Mhm.
Have you considered with like in regards to the drawing frame walls and stuff like that? Have you considered that movable objects can be destroyed outside of Judgment Hour to sort of prevent that sort of stuff from happening?
Well, it will be a bit harsh, I believe. I mean, some stuff on Realm Claim can be left there for, I don't know, like trader card or anything. It will be harder to if someone will lose it. But well, maybe it's a good, clutch, good easy solution for drawing frames because whatever movable objects, most probably they will be on private claims or in town claim. Well, maybe someone will go out and destroy all the tree logs on someone Realm Claim. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see where that does
Oh,
come.
well,
Look at some sort of solution to that because at the moment, like,
Hey,
it's just
wake up.
ridiculous being able to set up an entire fortification just using a drawing frame.
Yeah, but again, drawing frames on town claim, as everything in a town claim, it will be invulnerable. It's only sieges who can destroy it. But drawing frames out on Realm Claim, they can be destroyed during Judgment Hours, and we are discussing here the increase of the duration and how many times a week the Judgment Hours will happen. And right now, so we're talking about 4 Judgment Hours, 2 hours long each, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I believe that's what most of people agreed with.
Both NA
Can
and EU,
we
correct?
can we have a legitimate poll on the forums about that so everybody gets to vote on that so we can see where everybody stands instead
So
of
it's a
everybody
straw
shouting
poll.
over everybody?
If
Yeah.
you can organize it and drop me a link, it would be nice. I will not be able to handle it right now. I mean, if you can organize a poll and drag everyone into it.
It needs to be public so that everybody in the forums can see it.
There's people in the forums that could like contaminate that poll, dude. You can't. You can't be a
Yeah, I
public
mean,
poll.
isn't the whole point to make decision here? Isn't that why we're having this meeting? I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like that's a really good middle point for us to go forward with. It's not like it's going to need to be solid from now on. Like, let's take what he's offering and go from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if
I agree.
If I could add to that, I mean, we got to remember that more frequency for Judgment Hours with a longer duration is just going to allow us more of an opportunity to do it, while still protecting, like you said, the sheep. I mean, if you don't want to do Judgment Hour, you don't have to. You're not forced to do it.
Mhm.
So we just need to do it on a more frequent basis because, I mean, that's the main issue here is that we don't have that opportunity. So, and if you guys can't be on for a certain Judgment Hour, well, you can make the next one because it's, we have more of them. And, that's another thing too, because the game's about diplomacy. And life is feudal. Anytime you can be attacked in these Judgment Hours, and if you can't protect your claim, you should be doing diplomacy to figure out if someone else could come and protect you. That's the whole point of the game. So
Yeah,
that's all you
I
need.
Could always
absolutely
ask the
agree
Chinese
that Judgment
library.
Hours are gonna make them. If we have more Judgment Hours, then it's gonna make the current ones. They're gonna be less laggy because right now everybody has to wait for the one Saturday to have the one Judgment Hour. So
Yeah. That point was.
I wasn't able to get in last Judgment Hour.
Yeah, exactly. So if we have them more frequently, you're not everybody's gonna participate in every single one.
Yes. We're moving in circles. It was already sounded. I agree completely.
And the longer time will definitely help
everything
with
we
the
need
fact
to
that
cover
he's
at
not
this
logging
point.
in at once.
Yeah. Hey guys, Clickcoms. So we want to thank you, Bobik, for coming over. I know it's been a long work day for you, dealing with people.
It's not over yet. Thank you guys for the invitation.
So the Steam release is tonight?
Well, it seems we will have to postpone it due to numerous reasons. Well, it should have happened like what, 12 hours ago.
Bobik,
So-
I do have one very quick suggestion for you. It's very minor. I would suggest that when you launch the new Steam server, you flag it as a fresh start, like in the rule set, so people can see specifically this is the new server.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should think about it. Yeah. I don't know how we can flag it really fast, but I'll think about it. Yeah.
Confusing. Thank you, Bobik.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Blood Wolves,
Thank you,
thank you
sir.
very much, Bobik.
Yep, thank you.
Also, thank you, Feudal Union, for
Thank
hosting
you.
this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well,
You all.
yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye. Thank you very much for the invitation. See you.
Yep, same here.
Crazy out.
Blessings.
Well, I still have you here. Real quick, this has nothing to do with
Where's the
rule sets
nipple?
or anything like that.
Where's the
Any
nipple?
issues,
Where's the
Bobik,
nipple?
are crazy.
Okay, see you guys. I'm out.
Where's the main
I'll give it a second.
Night.